the 4-hour chart. This is the structure of the market so far on the and so the tendency of the market, obviously, in transition and rotation, we're going into a bullish outlook in the structure of the 4-hour chart of the ES. This is kind of what we call the triangle formation. This is kind of the break of it, and it's indicative of the just remember that you can put within the triangle projected from the future, and so that should give you an idea where most likely they could head towards to formula one but that's pretty much the constant. So if we take in consideration based on my previous liquidity voices, basically the market just broke a little bit, came back to testing, now it's just continuing again to the bullish outlook. So short-term bias structure is bullish. Big time frame structure bias is bullish. So it's a back-to-back situation. So we're going to be carrying on into only focusing on that idea, right? So having said that, if I very much go zoom in, right, we can identify the structure. You see this candle right here. I'm going to do candlesticks, something like candlesticks. You can see the rejection candle right at the bottom, back to back. And then the market just pretty much broke the structure to the upper side. This is a 4-hour chart. So basically, and this is kind of pure manipulation, right? And basically just trying to trap people in the discount area, then rotation happening, just moving forward to the upside. This is obviously indicative of a potential bullish outlook. So all in all, the long-term perspective is an extreme long position. So you can see here we pretty much got a rotation, and I'll show you that in a moment as a continuation. That how we a couple days back. This is a swing trading opportunity, right? So it's not day trading, but it is also applicable for day trading of the levels for you guys. So I'm going to bring that in a moment. But this was kind of, in a nutshell, it will look something like this. This was a zone of expected rotation to look for an opportunity to go long. So that's that. That's the reason of this potential entry that we had. And now we're basically trailing the stop. And the way that we're trailing the stop, we're using the same zones that would provide as potential for trailing the stops. Moving into the 1-hour chart, here's probably more, we'll have more clarity. And structure, the same thing. We're going to take here the trend line continuation. You can see right there. That's a propeller move to the upside, but impulse. So if I call them impulse, and basically the market structure move on, come back, retest the prior highs right here as a test, and we're a little bit more biased sideways, slightly bullish, right? So if you can see from the big siblings, right, this is the pattern structure, the break to the upside. This is the micro version of it. Right? You can see it right here. Structure breaks into the upside, and these are the potential targets that I have available as we speak right now. Okay, so what is the outlook for potential? Let's go to the 15-minute chart, and this is the outlook for today. Structure of the market as we speak, coming on the overnight on the ES is a little bit sideways, so looking for a break above the levels. I'm just gonna put this in here so it's easy to identify those numbers. So we're cut up in this range bound. They already broke above that resistance zone. This is a resistance energy zone. They just broke multiple times and identified the intentions of the market to the upside. So that is kind of a tell. And then they came back down and expected a continuation towards this zone right here. So the idea was to come back and hit the 64.87, 64.82 area and bound from there. But then we have a power zone, right, which comprises the prior they closed with a senior zone number 1 at 64.92, 6 to the close of 64.90, and that's the one that we respect, which is interesting. pierce through the 6482 after this structure that they're doing, most likely they're going to try to go further higher. And the target that we have is a little one, it's one a little bit below Synergy Zone level 2 at 6465. So, but I'm a little bit more inclined to the buy side based on the long-term perspective of structure. And again, we're trapped in an unbiased market tendency. So in a nutshell, I just gave you the insights of the why and how and what I'm thinking is going to happen. And this is kind of the review of it. Prices are hovering on the sideway rotation and channel on the ES between 65.04 and the previous day close of 64.90. As long as it stays with it, don't do anything. If it breaks below that level, be very worried about the fact that you're going to encounter immediate support. So I will not be shorting until they clean the 64.82 level. Then I will look for opportunities on the short side using other techniques or water techniques with validation. And if they do, the targets below is going to be the 64.75, the 64.45, which is very tight, and then finally 64.65. Okay, so but if we think about the 65.04 level, which is what we're after, the targets are going to be 65.11, 65.13, being the optimum, perfect objective for the upside, and finally 64.30 for swing trading. For those of you who are swing trading, the main target is going to be 65.60. Okay, so basically I am actually looking for that potential setup on a 4-hour chart. Here's how it is. 4-hour chart. You can see that it's really high reading and these are the motivation. Okay, so anyway, in a nutshell, that's what the ES is all about. Okay, moving along into the NQ structure of the market is just very similar back to back. NQ tends to follow through the ES and the ES is the indicator, so that's really important for us to take advanced knowledge of the fact that whatever the ES is it's tending to do, we would like to follow through and use it as a lead indicator. That's a correlation market analysis, and you should know about that if you've been trading future for a while. But if not, then that's a good tip for you to understand. And finally, the next step would be the VIX, and we'll go about it, and that's going to be the end of it. So the same thing, price structure came into the previous high. The prices were taken here with an impulse move to the upside. The market is just repeating itself right here with a potential continuation to the upside. Again, this is what the expectancy of the structure of the market means on the holistic view of what I see in the market from the bigger standpoint. Back, that's a massive pullback or a massive trade setup. Back. You can see it right here, and the market just is double tops. It's very big. They just basically moving along. This double top formation, we move too fast. That's support. The market should and must continue further higher. Prior resistance, right? Prior resistance. That's basically what it is. You see how the market is moving along. They trap a little bit. Prices in manipulation bottom, right? Because the multiple bottom support area and basically that's kind of the holistic view of what I'm seeing. So fine, I got a trend, I got a tendency of the market long-term perspective. I would love to match my lower time frames in that direction in what I perceive opportunity is. If we add up the fact of the trend line and here's one, you notice that's my trend line, that was a breakout, so this is the transformation, we call it pivot step. The market broke the breakthrough above it, come back, retested, and again, matching up the big analysis that I did. Again, we're stacking one thing on top of the other, and then the market just reverted, and basically, look at this blue color move. I'm going to change the candle. Look at this big candle right there. It's just indicating an impulse intended move for buyers supporting this, and we are on a 4-hour chart. The important thing, right? That's where the big players tend to follow through with. Sweet, no problem. So next step is you're dropping down to 1-hour chart. You can see here a couple of days back, these are the zones. Look at the zones, everything respected. This is a massive support zone. Look how the massive support zone actually held pretty good until it just withdrew to the upside. You can see it right there. I just trade that I do, I know this is a very specific low point, and I left it in there because it's purple. That 23,874 is a massive 5-time confirmed supporting area. The reason why they're being strong into the downside. I'll be very inclined to go long right now on micros, minis, but anyway. So, but one of the tricks of the trade, I can take the zone and expand it to the even the last swing low that they left behind, because we need to account for structure in the price section. I know the level is important, the bottom of it, but I'm going to expand that there. So visually, I know this is a manipulation that they trapped people before in the price action history behind. Hope that kind of makes sense. It's just a visual anchor for me to see, all right, if they move down, oh, should I short? Should I sell? When I go into a lower time frame? No, pay attention to understand. It means that they can, on the past, they trap people on the bottom and revert it. That's the reason why. Okay. So now you're going to be want to be a very conservative trader. Here's one of the tricks. We have a previous day close and point of control. The market is about to open in 10 minutes. Always the market is going to try to go to the previous close. And this is a POC, point of control, from the previous day. This is the applicable potential trade setup that I'm looking for. Whatever happens right now, I'm assuming that from inside the zone, the tendency is to go to the zone and reject from it. And they probably kind of come down. There's going to be planning potential intended move. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying that could be one of the things. The other one is just a rejection point. In here, rejection, break, and then try to move higher. Okay? But this is the decisive point. This is the point of give or take, if you will, if they're going to break through from it or not. And this is important. And the reason why is because the previous point of control on the previous day were most likely the market will go back and counterbalance itself. From there on, the big players will make a decision. Is it going to trap people on the bottom, trap people on the bottom, or on the top, and they carry on and continue. Okay? So, but we need a tell. We need to identify where exactly that is going to happen. I'm going to share that with you in a moment. So here's the trick. Here's the trade plan for today on the NQ. Breakup of 23.9 forward and validated with EOT. The market will most likely will reach 23.962 in a purple level hyperbolic trade at 23.962. You can expect to come out from it. Next level 977. Next level 24.08. Round it out, right? It's 24.08. 24.09. 24.8. 75. Just round it out to 80. So those are the targets to the upside. A clean break about 23.940 validated with momentum, whatever it is that you use to validate it, will trigger a target objective of 23.962, 977, 24.08 even, 24.047, and 24.114 and 141. Those are the massive targets to the upside, and that's again what I'm betting in what's going on in the market as we speak. That's my play. The market's just moving again, as I can see. A clean break below the low of the 23.874, but include the swing low that I just talked to you about on the overnight session. So which is 864. To be precise on the market for you guys, so you can have it. A clean break below 864 will trigger 837, 832, 792, 732, and 717. And that's the outlook of the NQ as we speak. perspective, I can see the VIX, M30, 60, 120, 240 level massively negative. This is back validating the fact that the long-term perspective of my analysis to the bullish side is still on point. That tells me the true story, the true trend of the market. From M1 to M15 tells me a little bit of an unbiased tendency, right? The short-term momentum, as we speak, is just going down, is correcting its zone, and it makes sense. It's setting itself up before the 930 opens. And then finally, on the overall tendency to the top, this tells you the overall, tendency, the real story behind the market. Okay, but I always want to follow through what the M30, M60, 20 correlation